I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. In today's video, I am going to take you through 22 series that I am hoping to finish in 2022. So let's go ahead and get into the video. If you watched the video that I posted last week, which was 22 books that I want to read in 2022, you will have seen part one of this video. None of the books that I'm going to talk about today were on that list, so this is an additional at least 22 books that I want to read on top of those, because these are 22 series that I want to finish in 2022. So some of these series, I only have one book remaining to finish them off. Others of them, I might have like a couple of novellas, things like that. Some of them, I have multiple books to read. So I will indicate that where I need to, and I'm going to just kind of blow through these rapid fire style. I am not going to give you synopses on these, except for maybe like one or two words or a phrase. If you are curious about all of these series, I did a video on all of the unfinished series on my TBR, which I will link up in the cards, and you can check that out if you want more info. But otherwise, we're going to just roll on into this, and I'm going to go through it as quickly as I can. As with the 22 books that I'm hoping to read this year, I did make a list of the 22 series that I want to finish as well. So I'm going to be reading off of that. I'm going to tell you the series name, the author, and then the title of the book or books, plural, that I need to read. So here we go. The first book on this list is from the Gilded Wings trilogy by Amy Agresti. That book is called Initiate. This book is about angels and demons. That's pretty much all there is to it, and I only need to read the last and final book to cross it off. The second book on this series is also a trilogy. This one is about mermaids, and it is the Serena Legacy by Anna Banks. I only need to read the last one, which is Of Neptune. I really enjoyed the first two in this series, so I'm very excited to finally cross this one off and to see if I still enjoy it, because I realized this year when I was going through and reading some series to finish them off, that the amount of time that I'd let lapse between reading like the second and third book really kind of did a disservice. So I'm curious to see if that is going to be the case with all of these, and I'm crossing my fingers that it is not. I really enjoyed this one, so I hope I enjoy the last book as well. Book number three, series number three rather, on this list is from the Prisoner of Night and Fog series by Anne Blankman, and the book is called Conspiracy of Blood and Smoke. This is set during the Holocaust. I loved the first book. Very excited to finally finish this series. The fourth series on this list is one of those that I have two books to read in the series. The series is the Great Library series by Rachel Caine. I need to read Smoke and Iron, which is book 4, and I need to read Sword and Pen, which is book 5. I really love this series, and this one is one that I feel like I will have the same feelings as I had with the previous ones, because I've actually been working on this series recently. So hopefully that will be the case, because this one is a pretty exciting series and I'm very excited to see how the whole thing is going to wrap up. Basically, this is an alternate history where the Library of Alexandria was not destroyed, but it is controlled so that the general population cannot get all of the information. So there you go. The 5th series on this list is the Graceling series, and I only need to read the final book in that series, which is Winterkeep. This series is written by Kristen Kishore. It follows a world where people are born with special abilities called graces. This 4th book takes place like in a land that we've not been introduced to, though, I believe, so I'm curious to see what I think. I enjoyed the first 3, curious to see about the 4th. The 6th series is the Croak Trilogy by Gina D'Amico. The last book is called Rogue. I've heard that this one has like a pretty devastating ending, so I'm nervous about it. That's why I've been putting it off for so long. But this one has to do with Reapers, and I do want to know how the series is going to end, even though I feel like it's going to like break my heart a little bit, but we shall see. The 7th series on this list is the Something Strange and Deadly Trilogy by Susan Dennard. The last book is called Strange and Ever After. This one has to do with zombies and people who can raise the dead. There's some drama going on with that. We've got kind of like a little forbidden romance going on. I've really enjoyed the first 2. Curious to see how the series ends. The 8th series is the Cross My Heart duology by Sasha Gould. The last book is called Heart of Glass. This is set, I believe, in Venice. It has to do with secret societies, so, you know, fun times. This one has been on my TBR for literal years. I'm talking like 9 years. It's been a long time. So it's just time to cross this one off, get it out of my collection, and finish this series off. The 9th series is the Howls Moving Castle Trilogy by Diana Wynne Jones. I've read both of the first 2 books. I just need to read the last one, which is called House of Many Ways. I loved Howls Moving Castle, y'all. Loved it. I did not like the second book quite as much, but I still found it a lot of fun. So I'm curious to see how the series is going to finish up. Series number 10 is the His Fair Assassin series by Robin Lefevers. This one has to do with female assassins who are in like a religion that worships the god of death, I think. And yeah, anyway, strong female characters, pretty swoon-worthy love interests. I love the first 2. Excited to read the 3rd book. The 3rd one is called Mortal Heart. And I'm very excited to finally read it. Series number 11 is the Agency series by Y.S. Lee. This book, the 4th book, I think it's the 4th book that I need to read, is Rivals in the City. I've loved this series. It follows a girl named Mary who is a female spy, and she's got this swoon-worthy love interest who also kind of does some detective work, but he doesn't know that she's a female spy, etc. There's some drama there, but I am excited to read this one and see how it ends. Series number 12 is the Wondrous Strange Trilogy by Leslie Livingston. The 3rd book is called Tempestuous, and I put this off because after really loving the first book, which was called Wondrous Strange, I did not like the 2nd book, which was called Dark Light. So I didn't read the 3rd book because I was just nervous that it was going to be a repeat of the 2nd one and not the first one. This one has to do with fairies. I'm a big fan of fairy books. I do need to read this one. I'm just a little nervous about it. So cross your fingers for me, y'all, that this one is good like the first one and not like the 2nd one. Series number 13 is the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Now, I've read all of the main books, and I've read one of the like novella ones, the one that was about Queen Lavanna. I've read that one. I need to read Stars Above, and I need to read the little novella about Aiko, which is called The Littlest Android. So then I'll be done. So those are like 2 novellas that I need to read to completely finish the series off. But yeah, it is still a series that is incomplete because I have not read everything in the series, if you get what I mean. Series number 14 is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I need to read volumes 3, 4, and the upcoming release of 5, I believe. Is that right? Correct me if I'm not right. I'm pretty sure that's right. I enjoyed these. I don't think they're fantastic. Is that like blasphemous? I'm sorry, y'all. I think they're adorable, but I don't think they're anything like earth-shattering amazing. But I still want to read the remainder of the series to see how it all wraps up. Series number 15 is The Ripper Trilogy by Amy Carroll Reeves. The third book and final book is called Resurrection. This one follows Jack the Ripper and a girl who's kind of trying to solve the mysteries. Now, to be fair, I am super fuzzy on all of the details from this series, so I really hope the third book has some kind of like reintroduction to what the heck's going on, because I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember that I really, really liked the first two books. So I'm crossing my fingers that I will also like the third and final book. Series number 16 is The Forgotten Gods Duology by Marie Rutkowski. The second book is The Hollow Heart. This follows a world where basically, they have a walled-in portion of the city, which is where the lowest caste resides, but it turns out that the lowest caste is actually like the most important people in the world. There's some things about forgotten gods, haha, hence the name of the series. We have a sapphic romance going on. The first book ended in a bit of a cliffhanger, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen next. This series is set in the same universe as her Winners Trilogy series, so just putting that out there in case you read the Winners Trilogy, you might want to check this one out as well. Series number 17 is Aristotle and Dante. I have the sequel, Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. So this is on the list because it is technically a series, although, you know, this is kind of a gimme because I was going to read this book regardless, but we got to give ourselves some gimmies when we're talking about 22 series, so we're going to go ahead and roll with it. Series number 18 is The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. I need to read the third and final book, which is called A Cold Legacy. It is a retelling of Frankenstein. This trilogy is all based on retellings. The first one was The Island of Dr. Moreau. The second one was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And the third one will be Frankenstein. So I really enjoy this. Very gothic, very horror, nice mystery. The atmosphere is very spooky. This was a perfect, it's a perfect Halloween series. I just really enjoyed the first two, and I'm excited to finally finish this series off. Series number 20 is the Bartimaeus Trilogy by Jonathan Stroud. I need to read the third book, which is called Ptolemy's Gate. There is a prequel to this series, which technically I have not read, but because it was initially written as a trilogy, I am treating those three books as separate pieces, and that is what I'm considering finished once I read the third book. This one follows Bartimaeus. He is a demon who keeps getting summoned to help this magician with various things. Bartimaeus has the most hilarious sense of humor ever, and he gets up to some shenanigans, y'all. So I am excited to read this third book, cross the series off, and get a little bit more of Bartimaeus' humor in my life because it is first rate. Series number 20 is A Wicked Thing by Rhiannon Thomas. I need to read book number 2, which is Kingdom of Ashes. This is a duology. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. So the first book ended kind of on a cliffhanger. I'm very curious to see where the heck it's going. I've heard that the second book is much more action driven, so I'm looking forward to that. The first book did read a tiny bit slow, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen and to cross this series off my list. Series number 21 is Impossible by Nancy Werlin. The third and final book is Unthinkable. Now, this series is a little bit weird. I did not read all three books in this series. This is a sequel to book 1, and book 2 was kind of like a prequel. So I didn't read that one. It just didn't sound interesting to me. This one does, however, and I want to go ahead and finish this one off, and I will call this done, even though I did not technically read book 2. This will bring that original story full circle, and that's really what I'm looking for here. And the last one is a brand new addition to this list, and I actually replaced a series that I was initially thinking I would read with this new series, and that new series is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read the first book in a single sitting yesterday, loved it, want to go ahead and read the remainder of the series this year. Book 2, I believe, book 2 is already out. It's called The Hawthorne Legacy, and book 3, I believe, is called The Final Gambit. Am I making that up? I'll put the cover right here. But basically, I just want to read that series and actually read a series in a timely fashion because I just feel like I never do that anymore. So that is going to be the last series on this list to read in 2022. It's a lot of books, y'all. It's a lot of books. On top of the 22 books that I already wanted to read, we're up to like 47, 48 books. So that's a lot of books. So we'll see how I do. As I said, I am going to track it in this little journal right here. I'm going to keep track of my progress. The series list is going to be a part of my TBR game. Be on the lookout for a tour of my new Wheel of TBR, where I will go more in depth on kind of what the different prompts mean. But I am going to have one solely for this series challenge on there. But I will be reading from these lists of books regardless of whether I land on them or not, if that makes sense. That just gives me like another opportunity to fit them into my TBR, if you will. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This was pretty quick. I tried to go quick, y'all. 22 series is a lot of series, but I tried to go quick. I hope you enjoyed. Again, do check out the first video, which was my 22 books that I want to read in 2022, not to be confused with the 22 series that I want to finish in 2022. So go ahead and check those out. If you share any of the titles on any of these lists that you also want to read this year, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.